Dear Minister of Economy, dear Ante Šušnjar, dear Secretary General of the Union for Mediterranean, dear Nasser, dear Secretary General of Gulf Cooperation Council, Jasem, dear Jasem, dear State Secretary of the Slovenian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, dear Mr. Štucin, dear Executive Director of European Maritime Safety Agency, dear Maya, and honorable guests, dear everyone, dear Madam Metelko, dear Andrea. So thank you very much for coming here. I want to host the organizers for yet another Dubrovnik Forum, very established platform for international dialogue, providing space for reflection and debate. As you already heard, this is my hometown, so I feel really at home here. And as you know, Dubrovnik was always a bridge between cultures, a bridge between religions, a bridge between peoples. And this is very important to know if we know some more facts from Dubrovnik history and during the time of Dubrovnik Republic. I think that there is no better place which fits better for our exchange on the new Pact for the Mediterranean. Just to understand what is this about, President von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, decided to establish new portfolio on Mediterranean. The reason for it is that somehow people in the Mediterranean felt left behind and abandoned due to our focus on Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Eastern Partnership, due to our focus on Western Balkans, so people felt abandoned. So it's not only symbolically, but it's about substance. So she decided to establish new portfolio. But it's not only portfolio, which I have a privilege to be chairing this. It is also new Directorate General, which is DG MENA. So we have completely new service, which is in charge for this part of the world. When I say MENA, it's Middle East and North Africa. So this is a very important part, and knowing what's going on in the world nowadays, we think that this was a good move from her side. Connecting economies and empowering people, which is the title of this panel, must be at the heart of our strategic vision. We know that the Mediterranean has the potential to be a hub of innovation, trade, and inclusive growth. So what I'm entitled to work on? I'm entitled to work on bilateral comprehensive partnership agreements with different countries. So one side of the story. Another side of the story is regional approach. So both. What we have been doing until now, as you know, we have already 3 agreements, one with Tunisia, one with Egypt, and I signed myself 2 months ago the agreement with Jordan, which we consider as the most stable country in that part of the world. What I will be doing, continuing working on these strategic partnership agreements. Now we think that the next one will be with Morocco. And I also, during my visit to Lebanon, I offered them that we start negotiations, so the next country will be Lebanon. Of course, as I see a representative of the Gulf countries are also very important, although Gulf countries are not Mediterranean as we know geographically, but Gulf countries are very important for us because we cannot imagine peace, security, and prosperity of the Mediterranean without involving Gulf countries. And this is why we want to be much closer to you than we have been before. As you know, there are security threats, there is erosion of multilateral order in the world, and the fading away of alliances. We are trying to establish this again, and this is why we have to boost our resilience, and we have to boost also our geopolitical influence. Just to understand, there is our new motto, which says Europe wants to be player and not only payer, because knowing at this moment, Europe represents 16% of the world GDP. At the same time, we represent 42% of the world development aid. So this is totally imbalanced. Knowing what's going on with new American administration, it could increase. This is the reason why we want to really to show that we are a player, and we will pay, we will continue doing this, but at the same time we have to have a much bigger influence than we had earlier. When I say this, it's also about Israel, Palestine, it's about Syria, about other countries, also North Africa and Gulf. So what we are doing in this commission, everything is looked through the lens of competitiveness, because we have our three priorities, as you know. First one is competitiveness, second one is security, and third one defense. These three priorities, whatever we are doing or whatever we have been doing is about that. So when I say competitiveness, we want to create better connections with that part of the world. Now I'm speaking about energy. All of you know that we want to get rid of Russian fossil fuels. This is a known fact. How are we going to achieve it? We are trying to achieve it, but still we are dependent, as you know. So knowing that this part of the world has plenitude of solar energy, wind energy, hydrogen, so we want to produce renewables there, knowing that 1 megawatt hour is produced in Europe at 60 euro and in Middle East and North Africa at 30 euro. So what do we need? We need to build interconnectors. We need to build grids in order to bring this energy to Europe. This is one of the ways how we see how to use the potential of energy. It is very important, and I'm working very closely with my colleague Jorgensen, who is in charge of energy. It's not only about energy, it's also about trade, it's about digitalization, it's about education, it's about development, it's about people-to-people contacts. You know that we will be celebrating or marking 30th anniversary of Barcelona Declaration. This will happen in November, so far as I know until now, and our new Pact for Mediterranean, on which I have been working since the beginning of this mandate, will be promoted there in Barcelona in November on this occasion, but we will adopt this Pact at the college on the 15th of October. What is this Pact about? It is about document, but it's not document. We want to make it genuine pact, to start different approach with the countries of Mediterranean. We don't want to impose anything. We don't want to preach to these countries. We want to treat all the countries as equals. Of course, due to different regimes or to different democratic status in the different countries, sometimes we always try to communicate with governments, which is very important, but sometimes we have also to consider and to consult others, which is think tanks, civil society, non-governmental organizations, academia. And at this moment, we are gathering different contributions from different interlocutors in order to make Pact real Pact, just to understand. It's not imposed from Brussels. It will be made in cooperation. So we are in the mid of the consultation process. During summer, we will gather everything, and I hope that this will be a good pact and everybody will be happy. On Monday afternoon, there will be a meeting of southern ministers will come to Brussels from all the countries now, and we will discuss, of course, this pact and the future of the region, just to understand that this is also one step in this process which I'm trying to explain. As I said, people are at the center of this pact. People are at the heart. When I say people, people-to-people contacts, we think that young people are the most important in order to exchange, in order to communicate. It's about professional training, it's about jobs, it's about skills. And what we want to create and what we want to have as a legacy of this portfolio is network of Mediterranean universities. This doesn't mean that we will build new premises. It means that we will try to add curricula to already existing universities, be it in Beirut, be it in Alexandria, be it in Marseille. So we will try to create network of universities where we can have young researchers, students. We can see our Erasmus Plus program, our Horizon program. Everything will be done there. So, and we think that Croatia is also well placed for this, for this network of universities, but let's see how this will go on. So first pillar is people. Second pillar is potential of economies, which I already mentioned, energy. It's about Trans-Mediterranean Energy and Clean Tech Cooperation Initiative, so-called TMED. So we will work on this with North Africa and with Middle East. So our job and my job is or will be to break the regulatory, financial, and infrastructural barriers, because we have to admit that there are barriers, and we have, you know that we are working on simplification now in European Union, but we have also to adapt also laws and regulatory systems there. Just to understand, nobody will invest in the countries where there is no rule of law, fundamental rights, democracy. Nobody will put his or her capital there if it's not safe. So this is important that we have in our organization, our institutions like European Investment Bank, International Monetary Fund, World Bank. So these institutions should be there, and this is the reason why we are trying to help and cope with these systems and countries to use all this. But otherwise, also European companies wouldn't feel safe to invest there. And I think that Croatian Minister, my dear friend and colleague Ante Šušjar, will speak or will share his perspective on this. When we speak about connectivity, this is also very important. It's not only, it is transport, but there is digital connectivity nowadays. Nowadays we don't ask someone where you are, but how well you are connected. This is the question nowadays, and this is important why we work on Medusa, which is, I hope that you are familiar with this, digital submarine fiber cable, which will connect all the countries. We also talk about ELMED, which is electricity link between Italy and Tunisia. When I mentioned earlier Tunisia, Egypt, and Jordan, these partnership agreements contain energy, trade, people-to-people contact, digitalization, and migration is always there. Unfortunately, in public, there is a, I would dare say, there is a wrong perception that is also that everything is about migration. Migration is only one part where we decide how to deal with this. You know that I'm also in charge of demography. It's not only Mediterranean. Knowing that more than 50% of people in that part of the world is younger than 25 years. So there is a lot of potential there. At the same time, knowing that Europe is shrinking and Europe is so-called aging continent. We are trying to change the narrative nowadays. We don't call Europe anymore aging continent. We are saying we are longevity continent. But this is based on the fact that we live, in last 50 years, Europeans live 10 years more on average, which means that we are really longevity continent. This is another story. We have to rethink, reconsider our regulations, laws, and everything, because everything is adapted to 65, 70, and it's over. Now we have to adapt to 80, 90, and 100 years old people, and this is another story which I have to also to develop. But just to know that there is a lot of potential there. We lack here in Europe, we lack human capital, we lack people, we lack skills, and we need to import some of them. This is why I'm connecting this with migration. I'm talking about legal pathways. I'm not talking about illegal migrations. For those, we have new return directive, and those who are not legally here in Europe will be brought back, not to say expelled. This is our position in the Commission. So what are we doing in order to create legal pathways? We are signing talent partnerships with these countries. So we have already talent partnership with Morocco, Egypt, and Tunisia. We will continue working on it. what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say that we want to be politically correct and we don't want to create brain drain there. So if we take all doctors, all engineers from that part of the world, this wouldn't be correct. This is why we are signing balanced talent partnerships in order to make situation okay there and also in our countries, just to understand it. Everything is about that. I know that the topic of migration is very sensitive, and in some countries it creates a lot of tensions, but this is about legal migration, just to understand. So, Elmed, Medusa, great interconnector between Cyprus, Israel and Greece. Then there is a Gregi interconnector between Egypt and Greece. Then there are many other. Also H2Med project, which is green hydrogen corridor linking Portugal, Spain and France with the potential extension to North Africa. So, and I have to mention IMEC here. You know that Prime Minister of India was 2 weeks ago was here in Croatia. IMEC is one of the very important projects, one of the most important projects, how to connect Asia and Europe. It will start in India and it will finish somewhere here in Mediterranean. So it's very important to know that this India, Middle East, Europe corridor is going on, and it involves investments in ports, in energy transmission, in digital transformation, infrastructure from India, Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Israel, Jordan, Cyprus, Greece, and Italy at the moment, just to understand. And coming back to the third dimension, I mentioned people, I mentioned economy. The third dimension is security. Security, as all of you know, nowadays it's one of the most important topics. We speak about disaster preparedness, we speak about combating migrant smuggling, and we are speaking about maritime security, which is also very important, knowing what's going on. And I welcome participation of European Maritime Safety Agency and Maya here, because it will, I hope it will bring some novelties to our discussion on this. So we want to deliver on ground by fighting terrorism and organized crime, while also preventing radicalization. This is something which we have been working on. And as I said, legal pathways is something which is very important. So just to mention Union for Mediterranean, because I see my dear friend Nasser here, who is now chairing this organization. We see Union for Mediterranean as our implementing partner. Is it partner? Implementing partner. So someone has to implement what we have been saying, what we adopt. So who is going to do it? So we think that the most important organization is exactly the Union for Mediterranean, because this is the only organization, it's not now political, this is the only organization which brings everyone around the table, which means all the countries, including Palestine and Israel, just to understand. This is the only organization where everybody is sitting at the same table, including Turkey, including Western Balkans, Mediterranean partners, and that's it. So we are relying on you. So there will be a lot of deliverables. Med9, as you know, Croatia is also a member of Med9, platform of Southern European Union members, strong Mediterranean voice there in the Adriatic dimension. Next year we will take over chairmanship of Med9 presidency from you, from Slovenia. And let us, to conclude, let us not forget the 3 Seas initiative. 3 Seas initiative linking the Baltic, Black and Adriatic regions, where Croatia is holding the presidency again. So this is something which is very important and fits well in my mandate, just to understand, although I'm not representing only Croatia, but all 27, just to understand. So we think that this 3 Seas initiative can become a key driver of regional cohesion and connectivity, bridge gaps, and strengthen resilience across the Mediterranean region. So looking forward to cooperate with all of you. I think that this is a good opportunity to discuss all these issues. Maybe we can, as I don't know what will be the conclusions of the panel, but we can take from you today conclusions and try to make them part of the new Pact for the Mediterranean, because we surely have forgotten something. So this will help us, this will enrich us, and thank you once again for coming here to my hometown, Dubrovnik.